Well, hey all, and welcome back. I received another exciting package from the Heosemys store's model kit site, Gundamit. This is the new 160 scale 3-minute project Heosemys Grandis from Chief Continent. I think the 3-minute project is probably a reference to, say, like a 30-minute mission, because this should be a quick build. Now, a couple notes about this. This is a 160 scale model kit that is intended to work with, say, like Diaclone type mecha. Before we get started, let's go ahead and jump into the packaging. We have a really nice illustration on the front, and that's actually what drew me to this. This has a very much front mission or assault suit Vulcan styling, which is right up my alley. But overall, it's nicely printed. Let's go ahead and check out the back. The back is continuing the illustrations, but showing you a little bit more detail about what the figure is. Has a cockpit that opens up, shows you the front and back, as well as weapon options. So anyway, let's get this bot out of the packaging and see if it's worthy of our collection. And here are the runners out of the box. We have a set of instructions, a single one-sheeter with plenty of detail and some nice illustrations. And then we have what is kind of interesting here. We have 6 runners total, but they are what looks like just 2 different runners. We have the main green one that's sort of an olive drab green, and then we have a black runner. So it will be interesting to assemble this and see what kind of kits we get. So I'm going to go ahead and start assembly, and I will take notes to give you guys after that's complete. Now, building this is actually really quick. While 3 minutes is a little bit short, I would say you could do this in 10 to 15 minutes. It is a simple kit. Everything cuts nicely. I'll say this, all the olive green pieces have a fair bit of undergating. However, nothing is so difficult or hard to get to where it's not easy to clean up. I'd say the only really misfortunate nub placement is on the head. And of course, with this kit, you're going to want to maybe dry brush it or paint it or something along those lines so it's not a major issue. But even if you don't do any of that, it actually doesn't stand out that much where I had to snip it. And I've got to go ahead and start off with this. This thing is an extreme value. Even at the price point, this is a really cool, small 160 scale model kit. But there's enough pieces to make 3 of these guys. That alone makes this a super value. And even with those extra pieces, not only can we have 2 more mecha, but it seems that we could actually make some other configurations. There is a port on the back here that you could actually use to attach the other waist to essentially make this a 4-legged mecha. Now, it does mention a piece that would connect the 2. I did not see anything on the sprues. However, if you cut off one of the cylinders from the sprue, you can make it fit inside here as an option for connecting 2 of them. So you kind of have to make your own piece, but that's probably my biggest flaw with the kit, is that it has a recommendation that it does not meet. However, it is a minor nitpick because there is a solution in the packaging. Now, this mech itself actually has a very awesome aesthetic. I love all the molded detail, all the little hard surfaces. Now, the interesting thing here is that it utilizes ball joints. It's a very small figure, and so that does simplify it quite a bit. Now, while it does have all this nice detail in here, it is broken up a little bit by the simplicity of these ball joints. I think visually it would have been nice if those could have been hidden or they were hinges, like say Ryo, but it is a small concession considering how cool this is. Now, I mentioned earlier, this is 2 colors. We have the dark gray or black and the olive green. Now you can come back here and panel line it and give it a wash or paint it, and this would still be a pretty nicely detailed model kit. This is very much in the vein of structure arts on a smaller, simpler scale. Now, quickly to go over articulation, we do have a ball joint in the head that allows a little bit of movement. We have ball joint in the shoulder, as well as rotation at the shoulder. We have a ball joint in the upper part of the bicep, as well as the bicep itself. Nice bend there. We have a ball joint at the wrist, which doesn't have a lot of movement. It has this downward movement, but not a whole lot outside of that, and it's mostly because of the way it's assembled. Now, one thing to note is the hands are actually not left or right. They've been simplified in a way where they're more of like a clamping hand. It's fine because it's such a small scale, but it is a minor detail that would have been nice to have a left and right version. We have a ball joint at the waist with a lot of movement there. We have ball joint at the hip. Let's just go around quite a bit. Ball joint at the knee with a very massive bend for as chunky as this guy is. And then we have a ball joint at the ankle. I think visually, I love everything about it. However, I do think the feet also could be a little bit cooler. They're fairly simple for what this is. But like I said, this is a very simple kit. This is like a Gashapon as far as what you're paying for, but you're getting a lot of playability and combination factors. We also have a little bit of articulation in these added pieces here for weapon storage, and we have a cockpit. Now, another note about this, I would have liked to seen a seat in here. You can fit a Diaclone figure in there with no problem. However, if there was a better way to seat them, I think that would be a plus. I think this is cool enough, especially for the price, where I'm happy to do a little bit of customization, whether it be panel lining and some paint, and maybe making a few odds and ends to improve it. Now he does come with some additional accessories. Not only do we get the 3 versions of the kit, but each one of them comes with weapons. First, we have a tomahawk here, and it utilizes a standard peg to put on there. However, I do find it is pretty tricky to get some of these things to go in the holes, even when I had back here. But yeah, he holds that pretty well. In addition to that, we have a submachine gun, nicely detailed. Same situation. Then we have a medium weapon here. Nice detail. And then we have a long range weapon. And that allows for some configurations like shoulder mounting through these additional items here. And that gives us some nice configurations. But this is very posable. The details are good enough, and you cannot beat what you're getting for the price. Now let's go ahead and jump into a few comparisons. First, let's start off with an official Dionaut. I actually think this scales pretty well and seems pretty realistic for what we'd expect with a mech of this size. Now let's shoot up one size to a smaller Diaclone power armor, and these actually pair together pretty well as well. And of course, they share the 3mm peg system. Here he is with a Front Missions Trading Arts figure, and with a little bit of dry brushing and distressing, these would fit in pretty well together as well. And then we have a Gashapon of one of my favorite mecha, the Assault Suit Valken. And this starts to go a bit out of scale. However, you can see the similarities in the aesthetic with some of the elements like the torso. And here we have a popular 160 scale mecha system called Ryo. And these are heavily customizable and actually have a few improvements over this one where they have hinges instead of the ball joints for like the major limbs. However, these are a bit more expensive. And here is a Structure Arts Front Mission model kit. As you can see, they do not scale that well together, even though this kit can fit a Dionaut. And lastly, here we have how it scales with a Tactical Mover. While they still share the same scaling, visually, they don't really appear to go together that well. You could always imagine this as a more upgraded power armor and kind of have it fit in that role if you're going to have these work together. I think for being my first Chief Continent figure, I'm pretty impressed. This is definitely a major value considering how cheap it is at the Gundam store. I'll post a link in the description where you can get your own. I definitely love collecting 160 scale stuff. I really like Diaclone. I love this sort of hard surface mecha that aesthetically falls on the line of realistic. But anyway, let us know in the comments below if this is worthy of your collection. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you all next time.